full of secret passages and makes them open fire. Mike makes Connor run while he shoots through the wall as well, managing to kill one of the terrorists. The passage drops Mike and Connor into another room, so Mike makes sure the coast is clear before guiding Connor to the basement. He removes a lid and sends Connor down a shaft while telling the Pentagon which entrance to watch out for. The army will have to act quickly because there are terrorists outside watching every vent hole. When a Korean man enters the basement too, Mike hides and waits for the right moment to surprise him from behind and choke him to death. Connor keeps on moving and is lucky to come out through an unguarded grill hidden by the garden plants. 2 American soldiers sneak around undetected to rescue Connor and quickly take him to safety. The Pentagon gets confirmation of this and Alan sends Mike to save the president next. Then Alan appears on TV to tell the general population not to panic because they'll solve things soon. In the hallways of the White House, Mike surprises 2 terrorists and fights them until he knocks them out. Then he ties them both up and asks for information, but the terrorists don't take him seriously and laugh. Mike immediately kills one of them and stabs the other's leg to make him talk. The man tells him Kang's name and that he's with the paramilitary organization known as Koreans for United Freedom. 40 commandos breach the gate and 28 are left. Mike shares all this information with the Pentagon, who knows Kang is one of the most wanted terrorists in the world. They didn't recognize him because nobody knew his face. His father was executed for crimes against North Korea and his mother was killed by an American landmine, which explained why he wants revenge against both countries. It was Kang who planned the bombing of the British embassy in Seoul. The American army wants to attack, but Lin points out they can't do anything against the White House's tight lockdown. Mike agrees and convinces them to let him do some recon. While the terrorists install a bunch of explosives in the walls, Mike searches the hallways. Suddenly Kang's voice appears in his phone, mocking him for letting Margaret die and doing the same now with Benjamin. When Mike tells him he's rescued Connor, Kang threatens to hurt his wife. Mike hangs up and Kang sends Dave after him. Then Kang starts beating up the Secretary of Defense, who refuses to give up her code. Benjamin can't stand this much cruelty and orders her to say her code, promising they'll never get the last one from him. The secretary reveals the number and the terrorists enter it in the computer, which is detected by the Pentagon. Downstairs, Mike is startled by a shadow and pushes it against the wall, but he stops when he notices it's Dave because he doesn't know the truth. Dave pretends he's still on the American side, but while they discuss the situation he says Kang's name, which he shouldn't know. Mike immediately gets suspicious so Dave punches him. Another fight begins and the men roll on the ground until Dave manages to disarm Mike. Then Dave tries to attack with a knife, but Mike is faster and stronger so he blocks all the attacks and stabs Dave with his own weapon. After kicking him in the face, Mike asks for an explanation, so Dave explains he lost his way. Mike offers him redemption by taking out his phone so Dave can call Kang to tell him he's killed Mike. Now Dave can die in peace so Mike ends his suffering. Afterward Alan tells Mike they're out of time to stop the nuke so they send out multiple aircraft for an aerial attack. The hacker finds them on her own radar and the guards on the lower floor receive orders to bring out the big weapons. Mike sneaks into the cargo room and discovers the Koreans have Hydra 6, a powerful next-generation weapon that was supposed to be American. However, the army leaders still refuse to stop the aerial attack. A few terrorists then enter the cargo room so Mike starts shooting them down while keeping an eye on Hydra 6. Unfortunately he isn't fast enough and the weapon goes out anyway. Hydra 6 shoots at a helicopter to make it crash. The other aircraft begin evasive maneuvers and shoot at the White House roof to try to kill the guards there. The American choppers aren't quick enough and several soldiers are shot off their aircraft. Inside, Mike finally manages to kill the last guard and runs upstairs after stealing a rocket. Meanwhile Hydra 6 shoots another helicopter, which also crashes on the ground. There are only 2 left and Alan wants them to abort, but it's too late because these helicopters get shot down too. Mike manages to make it to the roof and shoots a rocket at Hydra 6 to blow it up, then he tries to run but instead falls through a hole as the last helicopter crashes on the White House, causing a huge explosion and severe damage to the building. Afterward Kang calls the Pentagon and kills the vice president as punishment for the aerial attack. He promises to kill Benjamin next if the Pentagon doesn't do what he requested, giving them 60 minutes to decide. Then Alan calls Mike to tell him they'll recall the troops but Mike convinces him that it's a terrible idea, so Alan gives him 30 minutes to finish this before he gives out the order. Before going out, Mike calls his wife to assure her he's fine. Next, Mike calls Kang to tell him he's going down before blocking the bunker's comm system. A furious Kang and his men bring the secretary to the front door and make her walk out. Kang gets ready to kill her in front of the cameras, but at that moment a hidden Mike shoots one of the terrorists and distracts the group. While all the men are trying to fire back at him, the secretary runs ahead and is rescued by the army. Mike continues to kill terrorists, using a sniper rifle until he's out of bullets and changing to a small gun to shoot them up close. Unfortunately Kang runs to hide in the bunker again, so Alan considers the fight lost. The 7th Fleet is called back and this appears on the news all over the world since it may mean a war blowing up soon. When Kang sees Alan has obeyed, the terrorists get ready to leave. Benjamin and the other hostages are chained up and dressed in black with their faces covered by bags. The terrorists dress like that too so when they come out, The American snipers can't tell who is a good or a bad guy. The group leaves in the helicopter sent by the Pentagon, which barely gets to fly before it blows up. Everyone in the Pentagon despairs, thinking the president is dead. Mike watches the flames through the window and thinks it doesn't make sense, so he goes looking for Kang. His theory is correct because in the bunker Kang and his men still have Benjamin to use him as insurance. They hack the last code and activate Cerberus, programming the nukes to explode in their silos and destroy the USA. Then Kang detonates the explosives his men put in the walls earlier, which creates the perfect escape route. However, Mike is waiting for them there and quickly shoots 2 terrorists before jumping on the third to break his neck. Benjamin pushes Kang against the wall and starts fighting him for the gun, only for it to get accidentally fired. As the president collapses with a bullet wound in his stomach, Mike runs to Kang to start beating him up. He manages to land a good amount of punches before Kang brings out 2 knives, only for Mike to block all his attacks and easily disarm him. With only 3 minutes left on the nuke countdown, the men continue to fight. Mike grabs one of the knives and tries stabbing Kang, who after some struggle manages to disarm him too. Kang pushes Mike against the wall and starts choking him, but when he looks away to check on Benjamin, Mike uses this distraction to hit his arm and bring him down. Once he's broken that arm, Mike grabs a knife and finally kills Kang. Afterward, Mike runs to the computer and follows instructions from the Pentagon to finally deactivate Cerberus. The sun is rising outside by the time Mike and Benjamin leave the building. Connor reunites with his father and Mike gets to hug his wife. Repairing the White House will take a while, but an American flag is soon flying again on the roof, and Mike is given back his job as head of the presidential security team. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.